You said, "I will provide title." "Sir, I can make your daughter walk again," said the black beggar boy. The millionaire turned and froze. "Write story on this. Give me a proper story in 900 words for my YouTube channel story. Must be engaging and YouTube friendly. And make it easy to understand for audience. And start the story with most attention-grabbing words. And divide it into 5 sections." ChatGPT said, "Got it. White heavy check mark. I'll create a 900-word YouTube-friendly story, broken into 5 engaging sections, written in an easy-to-follow narrative style, with a strong hook at the beginning. Here's the draft." "Sir, I can make your daughter walk again," said the black beggar boy. The millionaire turned and froze. Section 1. A beggar's strange claim. "Sir, I can make your daughter walk again." Those words struck like lightning. Standing at the grand gates of his mansion, billionaire Richard Morgan froze in his tracks. He turned slowly, staring in disbelief at the boy who had spoken. The boy looked no older than 14, dressed in ragged clothes, his skin covered in dust, his eyes full of determination. He was a beggar, barefoot, hungry, and weak. Yet in his voice there was a conviction that no ordinary child should carry. For a moment, Richard wanted to laugh it off. How could this street boy, who barely had food to eat, heal his daughter? But something in the boy's gaze made him pause. Richard's only daughter, Emily, had been paralyzed from the waist down after a tragic car accident 2 years earlier. The billionaire had spent millions on the best doctors, flown her across the world for treatment, and tried every possible cure. But nothing worked. Emily remained in her wheelchair, her once bright smile fading with every passing day. Richard was a man who believed money could solve any problem, but here he stood, powerless. His fortune couldn't give his daughter back her ability to walk. So when the beggar boy spoke those unbelievable words, a war began inside Richard's mind. Should he listen? Or was this just another cruel joke life was playing on him? He narrowed his eyes and asked sternly, "What did you just say?" The boy stepped closer, unafraid of Richard's intimidating presence. "I can help her walk again, but you must trust me." Richard allowed the boy inside, partly out of curiosity and partly because he had run out of hope. Emily sat quietly in her wheelchair in the living room when the boy approached her. He kneeled before her and gently placed his small hands on her legs. "Don't be afraid," he whispered. His touch was warm, and his eyes closed as if he was praying. Richard stood silently, torn between anger and desperation. What is this nonsense? He thought. But before he could say anything, Emily gasped. She felt a tingling sensation in her legs, something she hadn't felt in years. Tears filled her eyes as her toes twitched slightly. "Daddy, I can feel something," she cried. Richard rushed forward, his heart racing. For the first time since the accident, his daughter's legs had moved. He couldn't believe what he had just witnessed. The beggar boy looked up, sweat dripping from his forehead. "It's not finished. She needs more sessions. But I promise you she will walk again." Over the next several weeks, Richard allowed the boy to visit daily. Each time, the boy placed his hands on Emily's legs, and each time her strength returned little by little. Richard discovered that the boy's name was Samuel. Orphaned at a young age, Samuel had grown up on the streets. He had no family, no education, and no home. But he carried something extraordinary, a healing gift that no doctor or scientist could explain. As Samuel worked with Emily, her laughter slowly returned. First, she managed to stand for a few seconds. Then she took one shaky step. And finally, after months of healing, Emily walked across the room and fell into her father's arms. The mansion echoed with Richard's sobs of joy. He had spent billions trying to heal his daughter, but in the end, it was a poor, barefoot boy who had given her life back. And so began the strangest chapter of Richard's life. Every day, Samuel came to the mansion. He had nothing, no shoes, no belongings, no family, but he carried within him something extraordinary. His small hands, when placed on Emily's legs, seemed to awaken nerves, muscles, and strength that doctors had declared dead. At first, Emily could only stand for a few seconds, trembling, before collapsing back into her wheelchair. But Samuel encouraged her. His words were always calm, always full of hope. Don't give up. You're stronger than you think. Richard watched from the corner, his heart breaking and healing at the same time. He couldn't understand how it worked. He couldn't explain it. But slowly, miraculously, his daughter began to change. Weeks passed. Emily took her first shaky steps, leaning on her father's arm. Then she walked across the room with Samuel cheering her on. And then one unforgettable morning, she walked into the dining room by herself. Richard dropped his coffee cup. It shattered on the floor, but he didn't care. He rushed to her, scooping her up in his arms. Both father and daughter wept, clinging to each other as though the world itself had stopped. The mansion, once filled with silence and sorrow, now rang with laughter again. Emily's cheeks glowed, her smile returned, and the piano in the corner played once more. And Richard, the man who once thought money was everything, now knew the greatest treasure in the world was sitting in front of him, walking again, smiling again, living again. All thanks to a barefoot boy named Samuel. When Emily could finally walk and dance freely again, Richard called Samuel to his study. The billionaire placed a checkbook on the table. "Tell me the number," he said. "Whatever you want. Millions, billions. It's yours." But Samuel only shook his head. "I don't want your money, sir." Richard blinked. "What? Why not? You healed my daughter. You deserve everything." Samuel's voice was soft, but firm. "I don't need riches. I need you to help others like me. Children on the streets. Orphans with no family. The ones the world has forgotten. Use your wealth for them." Richard sat frozen. A boy with nothing, no home, no food, no possessions, was refusing billions. And yet, in that moment, Richard realized something shocking. Samuel was richer than he would ever be, because true wealth wasn't measured in money. It was measured in kindness, in compassion, in love. From that day forward, Richard Morgan changed. He created a foundation in Samuel's name, building homes for orphans, schools for poor children, shelters for the homeless. His empire was no longer built on greed. It was built on giving. Samuel became part of Richard's family, no longer a beggar boy, but a son, a brother, a symbol of miracles. And Emily, she not only walked again, she ran, she danced, she competed in marathons. Her story inspired millions around the world. And Richard never forgot the day his life changed forever. The day a barefoot beggar boy looked him in the eye and said, "Sir, I can make your daughter walk again." And against all odds, he did.